When people talk about energy, they speak about it like it's some symbolic thing. Like energy is like some poetic stand-in substitute for the word mindset. It's kind of awkward actually how they do this. But let's talk specifically about my philosophy, the Alkalign Lifestyle, called orgasmic power. What is orgasmic power? It's not poetic. It's not some sexual thing talking about intercourse, physical skin to skin contact. That is a part of it, but only a specific part of it. It's not imaginary. It's not some metaphorical thing. What is it actually? What orgasmic power is it's an actual electrical current. I want you to understand energy based on your own human anatomy, your own human body. It's born in your breathing. So it's born in your breath, which essentially is the spirit, because the spirit is the breath. It's shaped by your fascia, by your tissues, meaning once the breath goes in, your fascia has to organize it into something, and then that's what constructs you, your human body. It's translated by your organs. So your organs are what read this fascia, this spirit that comes in, and then it's distributed by your hormones. So information, messages, signals that are carried throughout your entire body based upon your hormones. Now here is the important part, the awareness that you have based on your interoception. It's amplified by your chakras. What are your chakras? 7 wheels of energy that essentially are spinning, discs that are spinning around the organs that facilitate each area, our center of energy. And they're broadcast through your biofield, because essentially your brain, which is the transducer and the radio receiver and the broadcasting station that broadcasts your thoughts, feelings, and emotions out into the etheric field that then brings them back to you. And it's woven into your consciousness as your identity, your self-image, your self-identity, who you actually believe that you really are. And then it gives you a destiny, a destination, somewhere for you to go. This is what the concept of orgasmic power actually is. Now, I'm here to explain to you why your life collapsed before you and how you're going to fix it. I'm here to explain to you just how bad it wasn't, but how bad you perceived that it was. And the reason why your life collapsed was not because of bad luck, wasn't because of bad relationships, it wasn't even because of bad choices. I'm telling you, there's something that's underlying all of those things. It was actually because of this current called orgasmic power, which is your primary life force, your voltage, your battery life. Like in your iPhone, your battery life. You were basically functioning on low power mode, and it stopped moving the way it was designed to move. The energy, the power, the current. Once you understand how this energy that makes you up, how this current flows, your entire past that you've gone through, the adventures, the trials, the tribulations, the things that you have held on to, they all make sense. And then your entire future becomes a predictable outcome, an easy, predictable outcome based upon whatever you actually desire. Now, here's the kicker. We have to walk the entire circuit of where that energy was plugged into and what it was going into, what it was coming out of. Let's start first. Step 1, breathing. Your breath, the first current of creation, is going to be the breath. Everything begins here. As a child, when you enter the world, when you first come in here, their first act is not thinking, It's not speaking. It's just inhaling. I don't know no words to tell you. You can try all the mama and daddy stuff that you want. Look, I just got here. I just arrived here. I need to figure out how I'm supposed to stay here and remain here. Breathing, inhaling. So a surge of electricity basically enters your bloodstream. Oxygen ignites your mitochondria, and a spark awakens your nervous system. That's it. Simple. You come in here, boom, big bang. You're just pow. Okay, party started. Boom. But now your own breath, when life breaks you open, it's no longer dropping into your belly. You see, it's hovering nervously near your throat. You're not breathing deeply through the diaphragm, diaphragmatic breathing. You're not inhaling through your nose, you're inhaling through your mouth. And so all of a sudden, it's like someone pacing. It's like near a locked door, like you're just pacing and you don't have a key to get into your house. It's like your own house. You left your key out somewhere, and now you locked out your own house. But just imagine your own house being your body. How crazy is that? You locked out of your own body. Yeah, this is how it works. Now, when you see somebody shallow breathing, what does that mean? It's not a small issue. Okay, it's a really big issue. And it's based upon the original collapse. I guarantee you, when you get scared, when you get afraid, you start breathing shallow. Start panting like a puppy dog just finished running. You're panting. You're not sitting calmly, relaxed, deep breathing. This is your mouth. Your mouth is for eating or drinking. It's not for breathing. It's for eating or for drinking. The nose here that sends this oxygen up to this brain. This is for inhalation of the spirit that gets it to go where it's supposed to go. So when you have shallow breath, the first thing that you can imagine is that you are not safe. You're preparing for a threat. So you basically start to block your desires. You basically start to guard your heart, and you start to freeze your pelvis. You're not moving. Here's where armoring starts. Armoring, energetic armoring. It constricts the fascia. So the breath is the door through which power enters your system. When it loses the depth, the entire architecture of your human body's system begins to dim, starts to turn off. And next what happens is your breathing just starts to feel foreign. I know this. I mean, I remember when I was homeless, I was sleeping inside of the car with my partner and my two pit bulls. And I just felt like my breathing was somewhere else because I didn't even have myself grounded in myself. It was horrendous. And what was happening was, it was like I forgot how to inhabit my own body. And my diaphragm was like frozen by fear circuitry. Even though I was fine. It wasn't like I was, stuck in a ditch and stuck in the hood. I was on the side of the ocean in a beautiful place in space. I was fine. I was just taking the time to get back to myself. But when you have breath, real breath, that's voltage. When you can learn how to breathe, that's real spirituality. And without your voltage, your breath, your true breath, nothing else can flow. You see, that's the step one process, breathing. If you stop breathing right now, if you go on a breathing fast, how long you really gonna last? You can stop eating for days, for weeks at a time. You can even stop drinking for a considerable amount of time. But you can't stop breathing. You stop breathing, it's going to be over for you in a couple minutes. Brain dead, heart dead, body dead. You got to breathe. So learn how to do it the right way, meaning calmly, relaxed. Take it in, inhalation, and then you exhale. That's your action. You inhale to create the action, and then you exhale once you create the action. That's it. Now, next up, though, is what people tend to forget. They tend to ignore, and that's the fascia. Because the fascia does what? It wires what you carry as your history. Your fascia is what holds your memory. Your fascia is what holds these experiences inside your body. So if your breath is the voltage, then your fascia, tissues, that's the wiring. And now, if you look at any research, modern biophysics, this is what confirms all ancient mystics already knew all these things. From ancient Egyptians to Ayurvedic teachings to traditional Chinese medicine, fascia is not just inert fiber. It's not just, matter disguised as something. It's liquid crystalline matrix. Think of fascia as liquid crystals that conduct electricity and they store memory. So what does that mean? They transmit emotional signatures throughout your entire body. So every betrayal, somebody played you, somebody frauded you, you had a boyfriend, a girlfriend that cheated on you, something, okay? You got left, you got abandoned, something happened to you. Whatever happened to you, every humiliation that you had to swallow, every fear that you've had to hide, rage or anger that you had to hold tightly inside of your body, all the nights that you've spent playing these things inside your head, your fascia records it. So it stays stuck inside your body. Now, here's the other part. It's not just symbolically. It's literally your fascia does this. So people talk about trauma, but we've already gone through, which we're going to go through again, as trauma does not actually really exist the way that people think it exists. See, trauma is a physical disturbance, occurrence inside your body that causes a disruption to that energy voltage that we just talked about, to that breath. So what gets stored inside your connective tissue that wraps around your organs, it basically closes your muscles. It's like the clothes that you wear in your muscles, and it's what shapes your posture. See, fascia is important, completely important. And this is why you can't think your way out of suffering. It's damn near impossible. So if you're suffering right now today, you can't think a way out of it. You have to figure out a different pathway, okay? Because your fascias become like this vault of frozen signals that are going from the head to the leg, to the arm, to the shoulder. So all of a sudden, remember that word we talked about, orgasmic power? Yeah, that voltage, it can't go anywhere. It can't rise. And so now this is why your libido collapses, your confidence evaporates, all your boundaries go away, because your emotions, they feel so unpredictable and overwhelming. You can't act decisively. And here's where you repeat the same patterns. This is why I told you guys. This is not some, self-sabotaging behavior that just sporadically just comes about. No, it's not like that. There's an underlying issue behind this. And it's because your fascia is speaking a language that your mind cannot override, because the body's supposed to follow the mind. But unfortunately, if this is stored and stuck, there's no current that lights this brain up. So there's no mind of God within you. You can't access it. You see, so once you begin to release this fascia, this is when healing starts. See, people talk about healing like it's like you check off a box or something like that, but it's not like that. Healing is different. You see, it's breath, it's minerals, it's hydration, it's circadian alignment. You have to get through a place of, moving your lymph, sweating, poop, pee, detoxification, cellular, intracellular detoxification, coherent intentions, movement. Fascia is like, this is your old self. And then you have a new fascia that's free, that's been foam rolled out. And now you're free to move. That's the new self, you see? And so this is where you can now begin a new life. Now here's the other part. Your organs come into play. You have translators of emotion. This is the organs. And what happens with your organs, they translate your emotions into biology. So each chakra, they have a cluster of visceral organs. What is your visceral organs? Your visceral organs are the organs that are stored right in this area here. This is where the viscera is. So all the organs that require blood flow to go to them so that they can work. Okay, you have the heart, you have the liver, you have the stomach, the pancreas, the intestines. These things all they require the energy to go to it, because all of your organs, your main organs, are held up here. They're not held in your posterior chain. They're held up here above, you can say above the hip. This is where all your organs are housed. So I can tell you right now, my life was in shambles because the organs that are associated with my first three chakras, okay, which is my root, my sacral, my solar plexus. So you can say solar plexus, liver, gut. You can say sacral chakra, which is basically the sacral bone and the base of my spine, my intestines, small intestines, large intestines, the pancreas, the kidneys, the adrenals. Let's see, in women, this would be the ovaries, men would be the testes. So your sexual organs, in the case of regeneration, these areas literally were all in me. They were just overwhelmed. I had too much current, too little current, some current flowing, no current flowing. And so I could not move my own orgasmic power above these three energy centers. And it never got to where? Well, next up after the plexus is going to be the heart. So I couldn't even get into my heart. It's damn near impossible because my adrenals no longer could produce healthy rhythms. Because when your adrenals are active constantly all the time, that's fight or flight mode. So underneath my conscious mind, I'm in survival mode. I have no idea why, except for the simple fact that my perception is telling me I need to run, I need to fight, I need to hide. Now, my gut microbiome was imbalanced, and this is chronic stress. So if you have chronic stress, it's going to imbalance your gut microbiome, which is directly responsible for what? Leptin, ghrelin, meaning my hunger, fullness cues. It's going to be responsible for the blood going to my viscera, because this is what controls my digestion, my heart rate, my breathing, my blood pressure, all the things behind the scenes that are supposed to be automatic. Breathing, flickering of my eyes, okay, sneezing, coughing, whatever I need to keep this system working happens behind the scenes. And this is where my visceral organs are supposed to take over. But if my liver is struggling with emotional suppression and inflammatory loads because you have a fatty liver, because my diet was bad and I'm eating after hours and I'm eating garbage food, what happens again is your bladder, reproductive organs. I was just holding so many years of relational issues, traumatic experiences that I perceived to be traumatic, but they weren't. They were just misperceptions of how I was seeing the world. So my heart had no coherence. And here's a kicker for you guys. You can only hold the energy of both sides, positive and negative, in one area, and that's the heart. The heart is what does it, because the heart is what controls the expansion of your own energy field. So if you don't have an open heart, you have a closed heart, I guarantee you don't have any polarity. You don't know masculine from feminine, feminine from masculine. You're not divine anything. You're somewhere else. And your organs don't even malfunction. It's not even about that, because you're not actually unhealthy. You're just working too hard. They're just tired. It's like you just left the lights on inside the car and came back to the car and now it won't start. That's it. Just turn them off. Then charge the battery up, then start it again, and then should be good. Alternator starts running, charging the battery while you drive, you be good. People just don't make the time to stop themselves. I'm telling you right now, I didn't do it. And so cortisol, grief, betrayal, fear, rejection, self-doubt, anger, especially, and survival. These things are what caused the overworking of these areas in these organs. You see, so you have to allow your organs to re-strengthen themselves. They're not passive structures, okay? They're active, emotional processings that process your emotions in real time all the time. It's like the signals in a Tesla or in an electric car that show the sensors all over the place, because the brain really is in your cell membrane. Your membrane is what's picking up all the sensory imagery information from the environment, and it has to be read quickly through these organs. When your organs are weak, your chakras are dim, your light is dim. When your chakras are dim, your hormones are distorted. When the hormones gets distorted, all of a sudden your perception, which is what you believe, that also starts to be distorted. So here's the kicker again, your behavior. Your behavior changes now from creation to reactivity. So your organs were not ever collapsing. They were just asking you for some help, and they don't really have a language to tell you. It's just kind of like emergency. Then that's pretty much it. But let's talk about these hormones. These hormones, up next, they're the chemical messengers. The chemical messengers are the hormones. What do the hormones do? Let's talk about specifically the three main chemical messengers we're going to talk about today are dopamine, oxytocin, and vasopressin. These are not the simple feel-good chemicals. They are the architects of how you behave in the outside world. I'm telling you guys, this is how it works now. Like a test tube. Your body is like a test tube. And here come the chemical messengers inside the test tube to tell you what to do. Now, dopamine does what? Determines your movement towards your purpose. If you have a distorted level of dopamine, you have a distorted level of what your purpose is. You don't move towards the purpose the right way. Next, oxytocin determines your trust and your bonding. You'll be isolated the entire time if oxytocin is off inside your body. You will be isolated and separated, even though nothing in this universe is separate. And then lastly, vasopressin. This determines your internal authority and your boundaries. See, people think that they just get walked all over, or, they're people pleasing for a reason and all this. It's like, okay, here's the reason. It's because these hormones are shaped by the exact experiences that you lived and how you perceive those experiences that you lived. So I'm using myself as an example. Okay, when I was homeless, it drained all of my dopamine. So I had literally no movement towards my purpose because I didn't even know where I was going to sleep at night. I didn't even know how I was going to eat the next day. And whenever you have a dopamine collapse, your future just feels out of reach. You don't even stand to create it. Now, it's not that I didn't create anything, because I did write down the goals. I did know eventually I'm going to get where I'm going to get to. I just got to figure out the first step to find myself in an area where I can just go to sleep, wake up, drink some water, okay, not be stressed, because stress comes from dehydration. And I'm telling you right now, I was dehydrated. There was days I would go without water. There was days I would go without drinking a thing. But stress literally is dehydration. And dehydration is stress. It's a cycle that starts to appear because, and you've heard about it in maybe Kemetic, which is ancient Kemet, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, that the body water is the life. Body water. You see, you don't have any water, you don't have any life, because water is life. And so all the times that I felt betrayed, that caused me to collapse oxytocin. And then next up, and that's again, because you can't have oxytocin without safety. So I'm not talking about you have to be secure in everything. And I wasn't secure inside my own home, which was my body, the temple of this right here. I had no security. I had no safety. I had no connection to it. And so specifically, I remember being left in Malibu, California by my partner, my wife at the time. And, we were on an entrepreneurial journey and she just had enough. She's like, I'm good. Throw my hands up. I don't want to be no more. And, it's over with. I don't want to do this no more. And she just got up. She had both dogs and she said, I have to go. And, that was it. And so what happens to me, literally vasopressin within me, it's like it shatters, just like ruptures the whole thing in me, because that governs the sense of my presence matters. I matter. I value. I thought I had no value. For weeks, I thought I had no value. I'm walking back and forth thinking I have nothing. I remember in 2021, I think, this is whenever, I was involved in this crazy financial scheme. I was attempting to get funding for my wellness center at the time. And lo and behold, during COVID, people were getting laundering and doing all this crap. And I was so naive. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know how money moved, how it worked, how corruption worked. I had no idea. So me being naive, I was able to get played really easily. Ultimately, it led to Department of Homeland Security coming in and basically like raiding my place, not, telling me anything at first until after the fact. And then I had to figure out, oh, we're involved in something bigger, like this whole scam ordeal. And we were just a part of it. And they threw us under the bus first, like it's us, even though it was a bigger calculated thing. But no matter, my naivety still caused me to, to have to endure that moment. And it's like I fried all my dopamine receptors inside of my body because it just makes you feel some type of way. Like you just feel like you don't have any purpose at all. It's crazy. I remember after that moment, I left to go home back to Stone Mountain, Georgia, just to go because my mind is jacked up. I lost all of my stuff. Everything got taken away. Lost my place to live. Lost my storage unit with all of my things. Everything got taken away. My vehicle got repossessed. Everything. I lost everything. So I go home and my mom says, you can't come in to our home because you're not vaccinated. And I'm like, I don't need to be vaccinated. I'm plant-based. Like I'm fine. Like I'm healthy. Didn't matter. She's like, no, you can't come in. So I went home, California to Stone Mountain, Georgia. Still couldn't get home. And that was like attachment downregulated my oxytocin. So now I'm double sad, don't have a purpose, don't have any value. So it's like you get humiliated by your own failures. Even though failures should be the stepping stones to success, people hold it against you in many cases. And so now it's like I'm no vasopressin, oxytocin's all disabled, distorted, dopamine's gone. The hormones were responding to the signals that my life was giving them at the time, which was chaos and corruption. Even though I was thinking I'm a great person, I'm entangled with things that are not. And when your hormones lose the rhythm, what's called interoception, which is the most important word that you did not know until now, loses clarity. And here's where everything begins to unravel for you. I'm telling you about how your life just became a piece of shit. how you got divorced, how you got left, how you got involved in a criminal something, how you went to jail, whatever you've done. I'm telling you just the specific step-by-step process of how everything got fucked up in your life. And this is how you're going to fix it. Now, the word interoception, this is the GPS that you have that failed you. This is why. Now, a part of your brain, this is called the insular cortex. It's responsible for translating internal signals into emotional understanding. This is the part that no longer made sense of your inner world. Now, you may think that you eating trash food, you drinking alcohol, you staying up late. They don't have an effect. You think it's just nothing, it doesn't have an effect. Okay, keep on acting like that. Keep on acting like that. Until one day, there comes this word, or these group of words called the tipping point. You can look up Malcolm Gladwell. He has a book called The Tipping Point. Everything has a tipping point. And once this tipping point comes to fruition, fear feels like your intuition. So your gut feelings start to tell you, oh, I have these butterflies in my stomach. That's fear-based. But it's like, oh, intuitively, I think it's great. It's an opportunity. It's excitement. No. That's not excitement. If you go by a person and you meet this person, man or woman, and they give you butterflies, that's not some key to say this person is my soulmate. I'm just telling you, this is not how it works. Okay? Those fluttering sensations are actually what you call fear. You just don't know that. Now, your exhaustion, you're just exhausted. Okay, you're just tired. You gotta go to bed. But it feels like I'm depressed. You're not depressed. You probably drink too much caffeine. What does caffeine do? It blocks adenosine receptors. What is adenosine? It tells you that you're tired. So when you get up in the morning, you activate adenosine by doing what? Moving, exercising. That's what activates adenosine. You ever heard of ATP? The first word is adenosine triphosphate. You create your own energy. If you don't know that you have a level, a gas tank that's on E, you go drink some coffee early in the morning. First thing in the morning is you mask the ability to read your own fuel gauge in the morning. You don't know if you're on E or you're on full. Most likely you're on E. So now you're running the entire day on adrenaline, shaking the entire time on adrenaline the entire day. And now you feel lonely because it's like, well, shoot, I'm separate from everything. But now it feels like I'm not worthy and nobody wants to be around me. And you start doing all this fake sob story crap. Then you start to have this heartbreak. You're like, well, this is my destiny. I'm just going to, I'm never going to find love. And you start to just make all these stupid stories up. Anxiety feels like what? Danger. Anytime you feel anxious, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my life. I'm going to fall off a cliff. A bill came. My life is over. I got to pay this bill. Or I got a phone call. I'm not going to answer it. You just start to get scared of everything. And then numbness. That's what feels like calm. So you know what? What numbs you? Alcohol numbs you. Marijuana, weed numbs you. You go eat yourself numb. Yeah, you could eat yourself numb too. All these things start to make you feel numb. Pornography, promiscuity, so over sex, that's making you feel numb because you're thinking that that's calmness. That's not calmness. And then confusion feels like the truth because it's just indecision. Now, mind you, I said interoception is the GPS that fails you. You don't know where the hell you're going. You didn't put an address in. You just said, take me to the park. Go and type in right now, Google Maps, and put park. You're going to see parks all over the damn place. This city, the state over, the next state, different countries, different continents. You didn't be specific. You don't have no clarity. So now your inner GPS, which is your interoception, loses the signal. And here's where we talk about something specific, talking about your mistaken goals. This is where people develop what's called the mistaken goals. We're going to get into that. You're not foolish, okay? Your body just does not know how to listen to itself, because interoception is like your car's dashboard. It tells you if you're hot, if you're cold, if your fuel is high, low, tells you your internal temperature. It's your dashboard. It's how you read your miles per hour, how fast you're going, how slow you're going. You don't know nothing. Imagine driving your car and your dashboard is black screen, nothing on it. You can't see anything. If you're living in a silent house, like you don't know anything going on. Your wiring's damaged. The lights are flickering. It's like you're thinking that these things that look like bad choices, it's just your nervous system telling you what to do with incomplete information. You never get to see the whole story because you can't see the whole vantage point. You see? So let's think about this in terms of the chakras. The chakras. This is what we call the electromagnetic intersections of body and soul, your chakras. So you have your root. Once your root is dim, fear narrates your life. Your root at your feet, your ankles, your knees. That's your root. Okay? 174 hertz at your ankles, 285 hertz at your knees, 396 hertz at your perineum. These areas are controlling what grounds you to the universe. Next, your sacral. When your sacral shuts down, what happens? No pleasure, no trust, no intimacy. They have no meaning in your life anymore. I tell you right now, this is why people don't have any libido. They don't have any energy for sexual intimacy or intercourse. They don't have any energy for it. Women don't have any energy for it. Men don't have any energy for it. Next up, solar plexus. When this collapses, your identity just goes away. It dissolves. No more self-image. And then when your heart loses coherence, this positive and negative, your relationships now start to reflect your inner wounds. So now you start to draw these people that just magnify the love that you're giving to yourself, or a lack thereof. They magnify that. And so you start blaming them for literally representing what it is that you think about yourself. Ain't their fault, it's your fault. Once you begin to love yourself again, this heart chakra draws in people that magnify the love that you have for yourself. Then when your throat, which is the thyroid area, this actually controls a lot more about your health than you think. You start to swallow your truth. You stop speaking honestly. This is where the first step of people pleasing is wrong. Don't do this. Don't do that. If somebody asks you a question, just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. It sets your mind free and your body free. And then when your third eye collapses, it starts to get foggy. No future. Because you can't use your imagination without the third eye. Without closing your eyes, putting your attention right here, and letting the information get downloaded through you, you can now see with clear vision. Can't see it no more. And then ultimately, when the crown disconnects, you start to take your suffering as destiny, like an escape. The crown's supposed to connect you, because the crown is the prayer, the HPAA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary adrenal axis. This is what's supposed to tell your body how you feel, how to make you feel. So now, all of a sudden, you're making yourself into a destination of suffering, because that's what you're telling yourself that you're worthy of. Then you begin to look at your chakras, start to tell yourself they're not like spiritual decorations. They're actual organs and glands, particular glands that govern the control of your body's 12 systems. So, listen, this runs into the biofield. We're almost done. I'm just giving you guys this heads up because then we're going to get into the next video, which is going to be about your 7 mistaken goals. But you have to get to this part first, understand it. So the biofield, what does the biofield do? The magnetic field that shapes your reality. This is all beginning with you breathing, okay? We're gonna keep, so quantum research shows you what? That your heart and your brain generate electromagnetic waves that extend several feet beyond your body. They say 9 feet. I say it's infinite, but they only have the ability to read 9 feet at this moment in time. But eventually they'll get to be able to read further. Because then this is why whenever you think of a person, they can call you no matter where they are in the world, because of what's called quantum entanglement, that I believe has no limitations. Now they've done this in CERN Institute, where they've taken 2 identical photons, split them, took them 14 miles apart, poked one, the other one had the same response as the one that got poked. Therefore, speaking, there is no distance. There is nothing that separates anyone or anything. You need to be giving off the right energy, the right coherent intentionality, because you have an effect on everything at every moment in time, point in space. These waves interact with the world that's around you. So when my field was chaotic, again, I attracted chaotic people. Man, I attracted some corrupt individuals. Luckily, I was honest. I didn't know, and me being a person that didn't know, I got the information I needed to get them away from me, but I did not know. So being naive and being ignorant is a choice. Once I figured out it was wrong, I did not repeat the process. I had to stop the process and go figure out the right answer, because you'll have chaotic outcomes, chaotic relationships, chaotic opportunities, and you won't even know why none of these things are working. But you're the person that's drawing these things in. So the universe is not punishing you. It's not like somebody says, oh, I'm trying to manifest something and, it's testing me. I hear that all the time. Yeah, so the universe is testing me. Ain't nobody testing your ass. You're not even that important to be doing it. Everybody has the same level of output and outcome. Nobody's more special than anybody else. Okay? Some people just know more about how to affect the field than other people. So what the universe does is it harmonizes with your broadcast. Whatever you're broadcasting out into the field, okay, your prayers are your feeling. You've heard Neville Goddard, you've heard these people talk about prayers. Prayers are just feeling. Feeling is the secret. Why? Feeling is a direct component of the HPAA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary adrenal axis, your endocrine system. How you feel tells the universe how to make you feel. I want to feel great. I have to tell myself I am great. God is great. You don't tell yourself I am tired. No, God will make you tired. In the mirror perspective, the field comes back to give you the experiences that make you tired. I just tell myself I'm infinite. I'm energized. I'm happy. I'm great. Because once I send out these IMs, I'm sending out instructions to the universe, to the field. So once my field became coherent, because it did eventually become coherent, I did eventually fix what was going on within myself. I fixed what was going on inside my head, and I was able to maintain a level of coherence that was great for me. And all of a sudden, my life changed instantly. Money comes. Okay, love comes because I love myself. Respect comes because I respect myself. Security comes because I figure out I am my security. Things changed, not because I started to manifest harder. That's foolishness. My broadcast matched my reality that I desired. I stopped lying and saying, I want this life, and I didn't do this thing to get this life. I stopped saying, I want this life, and sitting my ass down on the couch or sitting my ass down somewhere and saying, I want this body, and eating garbage or not exercising. You start to look at yourself and say, that's not an alignment. You want a 6-pack, but you just consumed a whole 6-pack. That don't make sense. It's not in alignment. Once you sit there and say, okay, I'm committed to this thing, I decide. When you decide, you cut off not having it. If you never make a decision, ain't gonna happen. Because trying does not exist. You can't try to watch me on the screen. Either you watch me or you don't watch me. You can't try to write something down. You can't try to pick up a chair. You can't try to walk across the street. It's a stupid word. It doesn't even make sense. Maybe, trying. The universe speaks in yes or no. Do you want this? Yes or no? It's always asking you at every moment in time, point in space, what do you want? You want this thing or this thing? Yes or no? Make a decision. People usually make the fearful one, the limited one. That's what they were listening to. So, your reality always responds to the quality of your internal rhythm. I'll say it again. Your reality responds to the quality of your internal rhythm. No rhythm? Check your heartbeat. If this is beating chaotic, I guarantee your outside world is chaotic. When you're calm, comfortable, it's because you have the courage to be calm and comfortable. You have the courage to be disliked. You have the courage for people not to understand what you're talking about. The courage to not attempt to people please everyone around you, to make sure everybody else is good, but you're not. You can't make sure everybody else is good and you're not. You're first. Make sure that you're good first. And if everybody else ain't good around you, that's them. That's their business. It has nothing to do with you. Just make sure that you're doing your part to send out the right vibes. That's the golden rule perspective. The golden rule perspective. Okay, you're going to get back what you're putting out. So, lastly, literally, this is what happened to you. Everything came down to your level of consciousness, because you're the driver of what? Your vessel. What's the vessel? This body right here. Your body. That's the vessel that you're driving. The temple that you're inhabiting. That either you took care of or you neglected. Which one is it? Either you take care of it, you have a system to take care of it, or you neglect it. Which one is it? Just be honest. That's the other part. Stop lying. Don't lie to yourself. Okay? Because see, your consciousness is never broken. It's not like you have a broken level of consciousness. You just drown yourself beneath noise. So much noise. There's noise everywhere. And this noise is just like malfunctioning signals everywhere. It just start selling off alarms everywhere. Now you can't hear anything. So you're always capable of doing the right thing. You're always powerful. You're always destined for like rebirth every time, because you die every night. You go to bed and you wake up, you're reborn again. It's pretty much it. Your consciousness dies from yesterday and it becomes a new person the next day. You just can't live as the next person, because most of the time people hold on to their past. So they try to repeat the same thing that they had yesterday, today. That's what they do. So the hardest part about changing is not making the same choices as the day before. That's the hardest part about changing. Do not make the same choices that you made the day before. Do not respond the same way. Do not speak the same way. Do not think the same way. Do not behave the same way. If you were moving too slow, move a little bit faster. If you're moving too fast, move a little bit slower. You just got to figure it out in terms of clarity. Because once you do that, your system becomes able to remember how to conduct this orgasmic power. Orgasmic power flow. And once your system begins to recover, your breathing, step 1, your fascia, 2, your organs, 3, your hormones, vasopressin, oxytocin, dopamine, 4, your interoception, the dashboard, the GPS, internal GPS, which everybody, again, has, 5, your chakras, all 7 of them, from the root to the crown, 6, the biofield, which is 7, because the biofield is the mirror that you see yourself through. Step 7, the biofield. Then 8, your consciousness. All of it goes back online. All of it. It just comes back online. And so now you're like, oh, I'm my future me. I'm my future self. I'm my new self. Man, you ain't nothing new. You just became yourself again. That's pretty much it. And once you become yourself again, you literally can go outside and not have a care in the world about how anybody feels about you. That is why your life took a turn for the worst. And that is how you get yourself back online. Now, next up, in our next video, we will detail the 7 mistaken goals, which is what corrupts everyone and sends them into that life of despair, into a ditch that they have to climb out of. And do not be mad at these 7 mistaken goals. Everybody has to go through them. Everybody has to get to them. Everybody has to, have failure before you have success. I guarantee it. That's an integral part of success, is for you to fail. So your story and how much failure that you have just makes you a bigger hero in some regards. So be happy for it. You can't have gratitude only for the things that you deem as great. You have to have gratitude for the things that you deem as not great too, because you would never have the contrast to know what's great if something bad did happen to you. All right? Until next time. Peace.